These ascendant people, Mars will be transiting in the second house, and due to this transit of Mars, you will be able to take your financial decisions more promptly and actively. And there is a ample chance of financial growth and incoming of wealth during this particular month. Not only that, Venus, which is your second lord, is transiting in the fifth house along with fifth lord Sun, which clearly indicates that there is a chance of income through speculation. And not only that, Sun and Venus is aspected by Mars, and Sun and Venus is also aspecting the 11th house of gains, fulfillment of desires. So this is the time when you, if you can go and work hard, and your work will be recognized, and you will also get multiple ways of incoming of wealth, and your financial decisions will prove to be correct. So only you need to make proper investments, proper decisions at correct time will help you fulfill your desires, and not only that, have proper financial growth during this particular month of September. Mars is transiting in the second house, which also indicates that you will be very much actively participating in any matter related to your family. So, this is a time when you need to also have control over your instincts and over your energy when you are at home in between your family members, because there is a chance that there can be some kind of arguments or heated conversations between you and your family members. So, have control regarding that. Since Venus is transiting with Sun in the fifth house, so if you are expecting any kind of love relationship, or if you are already in a love relationship, so and aspected by Mars, so there is a chance that there can be some romantic moments between you and your partner, but make sure that you should keep away from your ego. Okay. And another thing is that, suppose if you are expecting to go into a relationship, then by this transit of Venus in your fifth house, there is a chance that you can also go get into a love relationship during this particular time. Another thing is that Saturn will be aspecting your seventh house of marriage and relationship. So suppose if you are going into a relationship, or if you are already in a relationship, then you must take care regarding this time, because Venus will be under the impact of Mars, and Saturn is aspecting your seventh house, which is ruled by Venus itself. So relationships has to be taken care of during this particular time very promptly and actively. Don't take any decision out of your ego, or don't take any decision out of your instincts and impulsiveness. Okay, make sure regarding that. Since Rahu will be transiting in your first house, so it will give you the activeness and energy, and it will give you the necessary confidence to face the world with proper confidence, and it will also allow you to have victory over your opponents. So you have to make the most of during this particular time. Only one thing you have to be very careful regarding this month of September is that on 10th of September, Mercury is going retrograde in your 6th house, and Mercury is your third lord and sixth lord. So during this particular time, you need to take care regarding your health also, and you have to also introspect regarding your efforts, because Mercury rules your efforts, your courage, your valor. So whatever work you do, whatever efforts or action you are putting in your work or in your daily life also, you have to retrospect regarding that. Have some enough time for your rest also. Take some enough rest, because it may also lead to, at times you may feel that you are getting too much restlessness, or you are working so much hard that you are not getting enough time for your rest, because in your 10th house Saturn is retrograding, which is actually bringing out extra responsibility in your life. And this Saturn is aspecting your Jupiter, which is also retrograde in your 12th house. So that means this is a time when you have to also bring a balance between your work and your rest also, because you see, your fourth house, where you get the happiness and security, where you find your peace of mind, that is the fourth house, is aspected by retrograde Jupiter and retrograde Saturn. So which is indicating that you have to bring a balance, when you have to take out some time for your own self also, and have some proper rest. Another thing, since Mercury will be retrograde in your sixth house, so it is also indicating that certain things related to your job or service has to be taken care of. How you communicate between your colleagues and your superiors has to be very much well defined and should be well communicated. Don't say anything which you should not say, because Mars will be transiting in your second house, so it can make your speech a bit more harsh and rough and straightforward. Okay, so regarding that also you need to be very careful, and make a schedule to spend some time with your parents also, because since your fourth house is getting aspected by Saturn, so you have to take care regarding your health of your mother. And Mars will be aspecting your ninth house by its eighth aspect, so you have to take care regarding the health of your father also. So take some time and spend with your parents. That will not only help you to bring uh, a peace in your family environment, peace and happiness in your family environment, but also it will help you to take care regarding the health of the family overall and maintain a work life balance. So that's it for the Aries ascendant people. For the Taurus ascendant people, Mars will be transiting in the first house itself. So definitely it will make you very action oriented and give you too much energy in your daily life. So this is a time to complete the work which has not been completed up till now. So suppose if you are thinking that I need to work on certain things, so this is the time when you will be able to complete it, because Mars will be transiting through your first house and throughout this month of September. So you will get ample amount of time. Mars is your seventh lord, so that means certain matters related to your marriage or relationship or how you deal with other people may all of a sudden come in front of you. So this is a time when you need to have proper cordial relationship between you and your partner, or your spouse, or your husband or wife, or any people with whom you deal with. Okay, don't go into any kind of dispute with them, because that can lead to some kinds of fights, or that can also lead to some kind of anxiousness, because don't forget Mars rules over fire element transiting over your first house. So it can also lead to some kind of depression or anxiousness. Okay, so have control over your energy. Rather you can use your energy in some proper way, in some work which you think that yes, these are the works which I need to do. Okay, in that way it can give you much more better results. Mars is also your 12th lord transiting in your first house, so this is a time when you need to take care regarding your health also. Now let us talk about the Lagna Lord Venus. Lagna Lord Venus is transiting along with Sun in the fourth house. Now transit of Venus in the fourth house is normally considered good, but since it is transiting along with Sun, so certain matters related to your home environment will be coming in front of you, which you need to address, which you need to take care. So in that case, you will feel that yes, I am able to bring happiness and peace of mind and security at my home environment, but it is taking a toll on me because of this present of Sun is a very hot and bright planet. So you may feel that although I am able to settle down many things at my home environment, but it has taken a toll on me. So you have to bring out some time period of taking a ample amount of rest for yourself also. Okay, jot down the work which you need to do and take out ample amount of time and do it carefully. Don't haphazardly start your work, that I have started multiple works at the same time. Don't do that. That can lead to some kind of issues for you, because you may feel that it is becoming very difficult for me to complete multiple works at the same time. Okay, in that way you have to make sure. Another thing is that your 10th lord Saturn, which defines your karma, which defines your any kind of work we do or profession or career, is transiting in the ninth house in the retrograde manner. So some travels related to your profession can be expected during this particular time. Another thing is that Saturn is aspecting your Jupiter, which is the 11th lord, which is and 11th house is the house of fulfillment of desires, wishes, which is also retrograde. Jupiter is also retrograde. So during this particular time, it is very essential that certain matters related to your job or profession, you may feel some kind of dissatisfaction can be seen during this particular time in your job or profession, or some kind of change can be seen, or you may feel that yes, I can work hard to get some better opportunities. This kind of feelings may come within you, because don't forget, Venus is also your sixth lord. It is your Lagna lord, but it is also your sixth lord, which is directly aspecting your 10th house of profession. And your 10th lord, Saturn, is retrograde in the ninth house of long distance travels. And ninth house is also 12th from the 10th house. So that means some kind of change can also be seen. So this is the time when you need to also have a proper, you need to have a proper balance, that yes, these are the works which I need to focus on. So which are the most prioritized work that I will do first, and then I will do the rest things. So in that way it will give you much more better results. Another thing is that since Sun and Venus is transiting in the fourth house, which also indicates that you can beautify your house, because this is the time when you can renovate certain things in your house. You can decorate your place where you live in. Okay, certain family matters you can resolve and cordially make sure that everything is good. Okay, so these are the things which you can follow up. Another thing is that Mercury, which is your second lord and fifth lord, is transiting in the fifth house. Normally, this transit is considered very good because it creates a dhan yoga, and certain decisions related to your finances can be taken much more easily by this transit. But don't forget, on 10th of September, Mercury will be retrograde. So during that particular time, you have to be very careful regarding how you are taking your financial decisions. Like suppose if you are thinking that yes, I should invest certain things on certain places, so you have to be very careful, do the homework, and then you can take the proper financial decisions. Okay, another thing is that since Mercury, being the second lord, is retrograde in the fifth house, so all of a sudden you may feel that yes, some kind of some doors of wealth and income is opening for you because of this retrograde Mercury. Okay, so that will help you out in thinking about your financial goals and how you are working with your income and finances, because this Mercury will be aspecting your Jupiter in the 11th house. So both this Mercury and Jupiter will help you out to work on your financial goals and your incoming of wealth. Okay, so that's it for the Taurus ascendant people. For the Gemini ascendant people, Mercury will be transiting in the fourth house and on 10th of September, this Mercury will be retrograde. So this is the time when you need to have a proper discipline and proper communication at your family matters, specifically at your domestic matters, certain matters related to your home, homely environment, especially the health of mother has to be taken care of during this particular time. If you are dealing with any kind of land or landed properties, then such matters has to be taken care of very properly during this transit of Mercury in the fourth house, especially when it is retrograde after 10th of September. Another thing is that since Mercury will be retrograde as the fourth lord in the fourth house, so any matter related to home or your house which has not been addressed in the past may all of a sudden come up in front of you, and you have to take care regarding that, because don't forget, Mercury will be aspected by retrograde Jupiter also. So certain matters may all of a sudden come up. Now, looking into the other side of this transit is that Mercury and Jupiter will be aspecting each other, which is a wonderful combination. So this is a very good time of learning also. So you can learn new things and you can apply those things in your work and profession. So this Mercury will make you very much curious to work on multiple things, learn it and work on it. So professional development can also be seen. So new kinds of new genre of work may come in front of you, which you may like, you may learn, and you can work on it. So in that way also professional success can be seen during this transit of Mercury in the retrograde motion in your fourth house, aspected by Jupiter in the 10th house, which is also retrograde. Now, Mars is transiting in your 12th house, which indicates, first of all, that in spiritual way of living, you will get a lot of energy. You will feel that yes, I can follow up certain things which I can do spiritually. So spiritual ways of living, like it can be yoga, it can be studying spiritual books, following spiritual communities, and you can also go to some isolated places, or you may also live in some isolation and learn about certain things which can not only uplift you spiritually but also give you that peace of mind. Otherwise, normally, when Mars transits to the 12th house, it disturbs the sleeping and proper resting time period. Okay, it disturbs it because Mars is a very fiery planet. It does not allow you to take the proper rest. So you can do some meditation during this particular time. You can do some exercises that will help you in establishing the proper sleeping schedule for you also, because you will feel that yes, now I am getting that time period to take rest. Mars will be aspecting your 7th house from the 12th house. So, this is a time when you need to take proper care regarding your relationships. Means how you are bonding with your partner. Because at times you will become very passionate, but that can also lead to some kind of arguments or differences of opinion between you and your partner. Okay, make sure regarding that. Venus and Sun will be transiting in the 3rd house. This transit will be a good transit, I will say, because it will help you to identify your goals, your efforts, and in that way, you will be able to follow up your whatever hobbies you have or whatever creative talents you have in a more beautiful manner. So, certain things which you wanted to start or which you are working upon, all of a sudden you will feel that yes, you are getting to do those things in a more beautified manner. So make the most of the Sun and Venus transit in the 3rd house. Another thing is that Sun and Venus will be aspected by Mars, so it will make you very active during this particular time. So how you communicate between you and your anyone which you meet in daily contact has to be taken care very nicely, because all of a sudden it may happen that your communications can be very much straightforward and harsh during this particular time. So make sure that you have a proper control over your communicative skills. Suppose if you are associated with certain things where you need to speak a lot, okay, in those type of job or occupation you will be getting a lot of success, because the Sun, Venus and aspected by Mars, your speech and communications will be very straightforward, and you know that which are the things you will be able to do better. So in that way, this transit of Sun and Venus in the 3rd house can give you much more better results. Saturn will be transiting in your 8th house, and from the 8th house, Saturn will be aspecting the Jupiter in the which is transiting in the 10th house. So, certain matters related to your job or profession which you may not like, but you have to go through it. So, here Saturn is also asking you to have some patience and work on your work according to your talent and your energy. Okay, and make sure that you don't feel bad about certain things which you may feel that I should not work upon these things because of certain kind of dissatisfaction. Okay, this is what this Saturn is indicating. Some dissatisfaction can be there, but this is also a time of hard work. Just work on it according to the merit of the work. Okay, because later on when this Saturn and Jupiter will be direct, it will give you much more better results. You may feel that yes, the hard work has paid me back. Okay, you may not see the results now, but it will give you good results in upcoming time. Okay, in that way, this transit of Saturn and Jupiter will give you much more better results. Make sure that you work on it. Rahu will be transiting in your 11th house, which will allow you to have a multiple gains. So make the most out of it. Do your hard work, and this month of September will be good for you. Just bring enough time for your work-life balance. Okay, that's it for the Gemini ascendant people. Cancer ascendant people, Sun and Venus will be transiting in the 2nd house, and this will prove to be highly beneficial and fruitful with respect to your financial goals and decisions are concerned. Multiple ways and multiple doors of incoming of wealth can be possible during this particular month of September with respect to this transit of Sun and Venus. Not only that, Mars, which is transiting in the 11th house, which is your 5th lord, which will be aspecting Sun and Venus in the second house. So income through speculation can also be expected. Suppose you are working in a group or in a team, then that work will be accomplished in a best manner, and that can also lead to some kinds of incoming of wealth and fulfillment of wishes or desires during this particular month. So any decision regarding your wealth or your investments, your income can be taken much more better during this particular month. So make the right decisions at right time. So in that way, this month of September can be much more beneficial with regards to your wealth and finances concerned. Mercury will be transiting in your third house, and very soon on 10th of September, Mercury will be retrograde. So during this particular time, it is very essential to understand that how you communicate, what you communicate, and with whom you communicate has to be taken care very nicely during this particular month. Specifically, the people with whom you meet in daily life, in daily contact with those people, what you say has to be taken care of, because it is the Mercury is the significator of communication transiting through the house of communication. Okay, so this is the time when you need to be very careful regarding that. Another thing is that Mercury is your 12th lord transiting in the third house. So some short journeys or short trips to some unknown places can be possible during this particular time, but since Mercury will turn retrograde, so you need to take proper decisions regarding that also. Any kind of work which you are starting or which you are doing, where you need to put your intellect, where you need to put your efforts, has to be taken care of, because Mercury will be retrograde. So you have to retrospect and introspect on your efforts on any kind of work which you might have had ignored in your past, may all of a sudden come in front of you. So first you have to complete and justify that work, then only you should start anything new. So during this particular transit of Mercury in your third house, don't start any new work, rather focus on the works which you have already ignored. So those kind of things you have to justify those things, and you have to work on it, fructify the results of those work, then only start anything new. Okay. Rahu will be transiting in your 10th house, so this will definitely give you a new energy in your work life, in your work sector, that will be definitely proved to be highly beneficial for your professional and career is concerned, because it will allow you to rise through your professional environment. Jupiter will be transiting in your ninth house, but in retrograde motion. So this is the time when you need to work on your spiritual and religious ideas. You can start studying some religious scriptures and perform religious rituals and customs, which will not only be beneficial for you but also give you that divine happiness. During this particular time, you can also connect with your guru, you can connect with your elders of your family, especially your father. Okay, because this is the time you can learn from them a lot, and they can help you to go ahead in your life through new principles and ideas that can not only help you to learn new kind of knowledges, but also help you out in your achieving your ambitions and aims of your life. Some travels can be seen during this particular time. So because Mercury and Jupiter, both your third lord and ninth lord, will be aspecting each other, and both will be retrograde. So any place which you might have had thought that yes, I should have visited those place, but you couldn't go, so now it may happen that all of a sudden a new visit to a place can take place. Specifically with regards to Jupiter, I can say some religious discourses can be seen, some religious pursuits can be seen. Saturn will be transiting in your seventh house, and this transit of Saturn has to be taken care of very nicely, because this month of September has so many retrogradations: Mercury, Saturn, Jupiter, and Saturn is your seventh lord and eighth lord transiting through the seventh house. So during this particular time, how you deal with other people has to be taken care of. You may feel that when you are dealing with other people, it is getting a bit more restricted, a bit more limited. Okay, or you may feel that your partner is getting too much conservative, too much orthodox in his or her behavior. Okay, so this particular time you need to be very much very much mm, committed, responsible, and dutiful with regards to your married life, towards the health of your partner. Suppose any matter come across during this particular time where you may feel that you are not getting your freedom, how you act in your relationship. So I will say that take it as a responsibility, take it as a duty, and follow it up, because that is what this retrogression of Saturn is indicating. And after, when Saturn comes direct, it will give you much more better results. Okay, so in that way you can make the most out of it. Ketu will be transiting in your fourth house, so you can indicate that you can do some spiritual practices at your home. Okay, meditation, yoga, that can give you much more better results. Or you can beautify your home without any attachment. Okay, means do something for your home, do something for the family members without any expectation to get anything back in return. Okay, in that way this transfer of Ketu can prove to be highly beneficial for you in the fourth house. So that's it for the Cancer ascendant people. For the Leo ascendant people, Sun and Venus will be transiting in the first house, which is a very good transit, I will say, because it will not only give you that charisma but also give you that confidence, that how you present yourself in front of the whole world. Not only that, it will give you that beauty, that attraction. Okay, people, specifically people of opposite gender, opposite sex, will be highly attracted towards you regarding your personality. So it is a wonderful time of self development. You can develop yourself, you can work on your decisions, you can take proper decisions regarding this particular time, because Venus is also a 10th lord and 3rd lord. So your efforts, this is a time of taking proper timely efforts. So suppose whatever work you do, it will make you self independent regarding your work. So work like decisions will be much more prominent during this particular time, or you will be you will feel that you are getting a lot of attention regarding your work and your profession. So take your decisions very nicely and promptly during this particular time. But this is also a time when you need to also have a proper time and management with your spouse or with your partner. Specifically, if you are in a relationship or in a business contract, or with your business partnerships also, because Sun and Venus together in the first house can at times make you have that ego battles with your partner. Okay, so regarding that also you need to be very careful. Mars will be transiting in your 10th house. So definitely you will be highly energetic at your work environment. Whenever you go to your office or whenever you go to your workplace, you will feel that, yeah, you are getting that highly energetic and action oriented personality within you. You will feel that. So this is the wonderful time when you can take proper decisions related to your work and perform it with your energy, and get your work done on time. Mercury will be transiting in your second house, but very soon it will be retrograde. So this is the time when you need to be very careful regarding what you say, because second house is the house of speech. Specifically, how you deal with your family members and family matters has to be taken care of during this particular time. Any family matters all of a sudden may come in front of you, which will ask your focus and attention, and you will feel that yes, you are held responsible to solve it. Okay, so this Mercury will give you that analytical intelligence to work upon those things. And due to its retrogression, certain matters of your family or related to wealth may, or your value system may come in front of you, where you have to work upon. Okay, which you might have had ignored in the past. So regarding those things you need to be very careful, and don't make any very much big or important financial decisions when Mercury turns retrograde, because due to this retrograde energy, you may feel that should I take the decisions or not, means this kind of feelings may come in front of you. Okay, so only you need to take the decisions after you do a proper homework regarding your finance, your wealth, or your expenditures. Okay, Jupiter will be transiting in your 8th house and looking directly onto your second house. That aspect of Jupiter will always be good, but Jupiter is also retrograde in your 8th house. So during this particular time, you need to also have a proper balance at your family life, at your married life. Means any responsibility which you need to take in your married life or in your relationship, or when you are dealing with other people, specifically in with your business partners in a contract, or anything related to joint assets, has to be taken very much carefully when Jupiter is transiting in the 8th house in the retrograde manner. Okay, not only that, this Jupiter will be aspected by retrograde Mercury and retrograde Saturn. Saturn is transiting in the 6th house. So, how you perform your responsibilities with respect to your married life or your in a relationship has to be taken care of very nicely. Don't take any major decisions regarding your joint assets during this time as of now. Okay, make sure that the problems are resolved in a timely manner. Saturn will be retrograde in your 6th house, so this is the time of duty. This is the time of taking job like responsibility and performing it. This is the time of deliverance. Okay, so don't ask for any kind of expectation or results as of now in a go fast manner, like I do this thing and I will get that thing in return. Don't think of that. Just deliver your duty, just deliver your responsibility with proper absolute commitment, and have patience regarding that, because when Saturn turns direct, you will feel that yes, whatever work you have done, you are getting the results then. So don't expect that result or that kind of answers as of now, because this Saturn will give you a time period when you have to work on lot of things, on multiple things. Okay, so the first thing which I will say here is that take care regarding your health also, because in your 6th house a retrograde planet is transiting. In your 8th house one retrograde planet is transiting. Okay, so take care regarding your health also, and just do your service, just do your work. How you are dealing with your subordinates, how you are dealing with your employer and other employees has to be taken care regarding this particular time. Just follow your job, and that servitude will pay you back in a more big manner after Saturn turns direct. Okay, so that's it for the Leo ascendant people. For the Virgo ascendant people, Mercury will be transiting in the first house, but Mercury will be retrograde on 10th of September. So, during this particular month, you have to take care regarding your health. You have to take care regarding how you take your decisions your in your daily life, and how you are performing it. So this is a time when you can work on your own personal decision making, your own personality, and how you communicate with others. Decisions regarding the wealth and finance has to be taken very carefully during this particular time. This is more because Ketu is transiting in the 2nd house. So, since Mercury rules over finances, so after this retrogression take place, so certain matters related to your finances, your own personality, health, and your work life will come in front of you, because Mercury rules over your 10th house also. So this is the time when you can work hard, and any matter regarding your personal life or your work life which you might have had ignored, or you might have had felt that okay, I will look into it later on, may all of a sudden come in front of you. So this is the time of retrospection, and just go through the things which should be taken care of. That will not only be good for your personal life, but also prove better for your work life also, and it will give you good results, because this Mercury will be retrograde in its own sign in your first house. Normally when Mercury transits through the first house, it proves to be very good, because it is a time period of learning. It is a time period of confidence, that confidence which comes from our intelligence. Since it is retrograde, so this is a time of learning, relearning. Okay, it will make you at times very curious to work hard. Okay, so this is the time of becoming the perfect person. Okay, but don't get too much critical on yourself. Okay, don't get too much critical on others also. This is the time of relearning. Just make a proper cordial relationship between you and your partner, because Mercury will be looking directly onto Jupiter in the 7th house. So this is the time. Just try to maintain a proper cordial relationship between you and your partner. resolve the problems of your partnership or in your relationship. Okay, in that way this transit of Mercury will give you much more better results. On the other hand, Jupiter in the 7th house, this Jupiter will directly aspect your first house, so that means it will give you ample time to maintain your health, maintain your responsibility. Jupiter transit in the 7th house can also help you out to make a proper cordial relationship between you and your partner. In that way this Jupiter will prove to be highly beneficial. Saturn will be transiting in your 5th house. So, this is a time when you need to put proper discipline and responsibility towards your learning. Means any kind of skill set which you feel that yes, I need to work on it, work on this, but it will take a lot of time. Okay, so bring out some time for learning for certain things which will not only be helpful in your work environment, but also give you that confidence, necessary confidence, because when you have the knowledge it increases our confidence. Okay, this is the time which Saturn is retrograding, that means it is also asking to have maintain a proper management in your daily life. 5th house is also our management or our ability to manage certain things. Okay, it also deals with our mentality. Okay, so this Saturn being the 5th lord transiting in the 5th house also indicates that certain things in our life we need to have proper managing abilities, we need to have proper management. So this is the time when you can practice some meditation, some yoga, that will give you much more better results, which is also indicative from the fact that Sun and Venus is transiting in the 12th house. So this is a time when you can spend some time for yourself and practice some yogic practices, some spiritual practice, some spiritual way of living, some meditation, some yoga, some exercise that can give you much more better results. Mars will be transiting in your 9th house. So, and Mars is your 8th lord. Okay, so all of a sudden some unplanned, some long distance travels can take place during this particular time. This Mars transit through the 9th house, I will say that you will get some energy to learn or relearn certain things regarding related to higher knowledge or philosophy. You may visit to some religious places also. You will get that energy that yes, I can visit them far away places, some religious or spiritual places, and get connected with some spiritual communities. Okay, but during this particular time don't force your belief system, don't force your religious and spiritual ideas on others. Okay, this is the time when you can learn new things, but don't force it on others. That is what I will say, because otherwise that can lead to some kind of arguments or classes of opinions, because Mars will aspect your 3rd house of communication also. So make the most out of it with respect to your efforts and actions, but don't force it on others. Okay, so that's it for the Virgo ascendant people. For the Libra ascendant people, Ketu is transiting in your 1st house, and Saturn is aspecting that Ketu from the 4th house by its 10th aspect. So this is the time when you need to take enough care of your health, more specifically because the first lord Venus is transiting in the 11th house, which is good, but getting aspected by Mars from the 8th house. So that means health care is very essential during this particular month of September for the Libra ascendant people, because when you take care of your health you have enough energy to work upon. Because don't forget that in this month of September, in the after the 3rd week of September, you will see that Venus is entering the sign of Virgo, where Venus will be debilitated. So this is a very essential month for proper health care, maintaining proper personality, and how you are dealing with other people, because Venus is the planet which significates our ability to bind with other people, our ability to bind ourselves in a relationship, that can be any kind of relationship. Okay, so since Venus is transiting in a fiery sign Leo along with Sun and getting aspected by a fiery planet Mars, so this is the time you need to take care regarding your health, very essential, and how you are dealing with other people. Otherwise, Sun and Venus transit in the 11th house is normally considered very good, because it will help you out to have multiple gains in your life, help you out to fulfill your desires. But take care regarding your health. This is the most important thing. Saturn will be transiting in your fourth house. So certain matters related to your home, however small it is, may come in front of you. Certain matters which you are not expecting, that can be related to any matter related to your home, homely environments, or it can be health of your mother also, may come in front of you, where you need to take care regarding multiple things. So you may feel that so many things are coming in and around me, and I am not getting enough time for myself. So this kind of situation may come. So I will say that proper time management, proper punctual mode of mind can give you much more better results during this transit of Saturn in your fourth house. Otherwise, since Saturn is the yoga karaka planet for the Libra ascendant people, it will also allow you to learn new things, and although many things will be coming in front of you, still you will be able to successfully follow it up, successfully complete it. Means you will feel that at the end of the day, I have completed so many works at the same time, although those kind of works may have taken or may have consumed a lot of time for you, but still you will be successfully able to complete it. Okay, this is the bright side of the this transit. Jupiter will be transiting in your sixth house in the retrograde motion. On the other hand, Mercury will be transiting in the 12th house in the retrograde motion after 10th of September. So this two transit has to be taken care of. Although the transit of Mercury in the 12th house here will prove to be highly beneficial, because it will actually allow you to have the proper rest, ample amount of rest and sleep. This transit of Mercury will give you that kind of good results, and it will also allow you to connect with spiritual communities or spiritual way of living. So you can do some yoga, some meditation, or you can study some spiritual books, or you can also get connect with your spiritual guide or with your guru. Visit some faraway places and meet your guru, and that can give you much more better results. On the other hand, Jupiter in the sixth house retrograde, that can allow you to follow your servitude in a much more better manner. Only one thing, since Jupiter is retrograding in the sixth house as the sixth lord, this also indicates take care regarding your health. Although it will be good with respect to your service, but this is the time when you need to take care regarding your health also. Since Jupiter is retrograde, you may feel that my efforts are not giving me results as of now. Means you will feel that you are doing so many work at the same time, but you are not getting the results all of a sudden. So I will say that just follow up your hard work, just do it, just do it at your best, because Pisces is a sign of compassion. Just do it with your compassionate way of living. Okay, in that way, that will give you much more better results, because this Jupiter will turn direct, and then you will find the good results coming in your way. So just follow your idea, just follow your good way of doing your work. Just do your good job and good karma. That will give you much more better results. Mars will be transiting in your eighth house, and most important part here is that Mars is your seventh lord and second lord. So that means Mars rules over your relationships, Mars rules over your finances and wealth and your family values. This Mars is transiting in the eighth house. So here certain matters related to your wealth or your income may come in front of you, because this transit of Mars through your eighth house will be a long transit. So you have to take decisions regarding your wealth and finances very carefully. Avoid any kind of unnecessary expenditures during this particular time, and also take care regarding your health. Any matter related to your relationship or your partnership has to be taken care of during this particular time. And also stay away from any kind of recklessness, stay away from any kind of hurriedness. Take enough time, ample amount of time, and do that work. Don't hurry regarding any kind of thing. Okay. Take care regarding the health of your spouse during this particular time, because Mars also rules over your seventh house and transiting through the eighth house. And try to have control over your speech regarding how you are dealing with your family members, or how you are dealing with your in-laws, or any matter related to your married life or relationship. Regarding that also, be very careful. Have proper control over your speech and communication during this particular time. Okay, so that's it for the Libra ascendant people. For the Scorpio ascendant people, the Lagna Lord Mars will be transiting in the seventh house, in the house of partnership, marriage and relationship. So During this month of September, certain matters related to your married life or your health of your spouse or relationship, or it can be business partnership also, which may come in front of you, and you need to address it with complete focus and attention during this month of September. And it will be very important because Mars is the Lagna Lord for Scorpio ascendant people, so it is becoming a primary concern. Another thing, Mars is a very fiery planet. It is a planet which rules over fire element, and it is the soldier, and it is also planet of war. Okay, and it is transiting through the house of negotiation, house of partnership, that is the seventh house. So during this month of September, during this transit of Mars through the sign of Taurus in your seventh house, on certain matters you may find yourself to adjust under such and certain situations. Now you may like the situation, you may not like the situation, but you may find yourself to forcefully, or it may be like you are just adjusting to certain situations. You may not like it. Okay, so I will say that this is the time when you can work on how to compromise under such and certain situations, because that will not only protect your partnership and relationship, but also it will make you a very good team player and with proper sportsman spirit. Because when you are working on with your partner in a same kind of work. Now suppose in a married life, if you are working on with your partner, then that will give you much more better results, rather than clashing under certain some points or certain things which you may not like. Okay, if you compromise on certain things, it will give you much more better results, because don't forget, Mars will be aspecting your first house and second house. So some anxiety can be there, some it can lead to some kind of straightforward, rude and rough speech. Okay, so avoid any kind of arguments, avoid any kind of disputes, rather than it is a time to work as a team with your partner, and this will not only help you to go ahead of your ego, but also it will help you to understand the needs and necessities of your partner. Okay, in that way this transit of Mars can be handled. Saturn is retrograde in your third house as the third lord. It is a good transit, I will say, because it will help you to understand your goals and your ability to put your actions and efforts in a correct manner, because Saturn is a slow moving planet. So you will get ample amount of time to identify your goals and work on it, because this Saturn will be is retrograde and it is the third lord. So that means you will be able to identify your creative talents also, and which are the things which you must work upon. Okay, so don't hurry, just take your time and identify the things which you should be doing. And this retrograde energy is also a time period for introspection or retrospection regarding your own hobbies, your own projects which you should start, or which you are thinking you should start but you haven't have started. Okay, so in that way this transit of Saturn can be good. Some travels can be seen during this particular time. Jupiter will be transiting in your fifth house in the retrograde motion, so you can understand that by this virtue of transit of Jupiter in the fifth house in the retrograde motion, it is a time of relearning. It is a time where you can use your curiosity to learn some higher knowledge, learn some philosophical ideas, or it is a time to reshape your creative skill set. So whatever studies you are doing or whatever work you do, there is always a way by which you can complete that work in a more perfect manner. So this retrograde Jupiter will help you out to just reshape your mode of work, your mode of management, in order to complete a work in a much more better manner. If we talk about Mercury, then Mercury will be transiting in your 11th house, and very soon on 10th of September, Mercury will be retrograde in the sign of Virgo in your 11th house. Now, this transit is a good transit, I will say, because this Mercury will help you identify the different ways by which it can increase your incoming of wealth and fulfillment of desires in your life during this month of September. Since it is retrograde in the 11th house, so when you are dealing with your social communications or your social networking, or when you are dealing with multiple people, specifically your network circle, make sure what you speak or how you communicate, it should be well judged and it should be properly weighed. Okay, so suppose you say something, so you must have a proper justification that what you are saying or what you are communicating, because Mercury is retrograde. So all of a sudden don't say anything or don't communicate certain things to your friend circle or your network circle which you should not do. Okay, so regarding that you need to be very careful. Sun and Venus will be transiting in your 10th house, and this transit to some extent I will say it is a very good transit, because normally transit of Sun and Venus to the 10th house brings good results, because it allows you to get the name, fame and proper reputation and status at your workplace and in your life also. Only one thing is that since Venus will be in the presence of Sun and getting aspected by Mars, so this is a time to bring some work-life balance, because you also need to have some proper time to take rest. Okay, because suppose you are devoting your complete time for your work and you are not getting enough rest, then that can lead to over exhaustion. Okay, so you may feel at times a bit more tired. Okay, so you need to take extra care of your health also, take proper rest, and then you can devote your time for your work, because this is the time when you can multiply your work and get success and get name and fame at the same time. So for the month of September, for the Scorpio ascendant people, the primary concerns are, first of all, take care regarding your health of the spouse, married life, partnership, relationship. Relearning is a process. Journeys can be there. Work on your hobbies. Don't communicate anything with your friend circle or your network circle which you should not communicate, because Mercury will be retrograde very soon. And at your work life, the things will be good because you will be working hard, but also at the same time bring out some time for yourself, for your rest. So that's it for the Scorpio ascendant people. Sagittarius ascendant people, the Lagna Lord Jupiter will be transiting in the 4th house, and this transit is a very good transit, I will say, because Jupiter will be transiting through the house of happiness. So this is a transit when you will be taking extra care regarding how to make the domestic environment much more beautiful, happy, and having a proper security and peace of mind. Since this Jupiter is retrograde, so certain matters related to your home, your homely matters may come in front of you, so you can decorate your home, you can renovate, you can make some innovations where it can not only lead to beautification but also give you peace of mind and happiness. Suppose if you are thinking to purchase anything related to luxury or comforts, or which can increase your convenience, then this time during this particular transit you can purchase that also, and you can install at your home. If you are associated related to any kind of job like landed property, property dealing, or real estate, then this transit of Jupiter will give you much more better results. And since it is the 4th lord itself, so definitely it will help you have a proper time and space at your domestic environment, so it will also bring happiness and peace of mind for you. On the other hand, just opposite to Jupiter, you will find Mercury is transiting in the 10th house, and it will also turn retrograde on 10th of September. So certain matter related to your work environment will be also very prominent during this particular time. So this is a time when you can make yourself more perfect in whatever work you do. That will not only help you in future, because when Mercury turns direct, that time it will help you out. So this is a time when you can work on your capacity, your on your creative talent, or within your capacity, that whatever work you do means smart work. Learn certain things with respect to your logic, with respect to your analytical reasoning, and through your intelligence you can make the most out of it, and that can give you much more better results in when Mercury turns direct. So you will find a proper work life balance due to this transit of Jupiter and Mercury in your 4th house and 10th house respectively. When we talk about Saturn, Saturn is the second lord itself and retrograding in your 2nd house. So that means any matter related to your finance, investments, money, wealth will be very essential, and any decision regarding those things will be very important to you, because you have to take those decisions very judiciously. Because don't forget, Saturn will be looking on to this kind of matters very cautiously during this particular time. So you need to do your homework and properly, then only take any important decisions regarding any kind of financial matter or investments. Suppose if you are feeling that there is a doubt, then wait for it, take ample amount of time, don't hurry into it. And any kind of wasteful expenditures has to be stopped during this particular month. And most importantly, Mercury will be retrograde this month. So whatever you say, how you speak, how you converse, how you communicate with others will be very important, because Saturn is also transiting through the second house, that also in the retrograde motion. So be very careful regarding how you are communicating with others. Okay. Most important thing here is that suppose you are dealing with any kind of family matters or anything related to your family. So anything which requires your duty, which requires your commitment and responsibility may come all of a sudden during this month, or it may be going on already, because Saturn has already entered the sign of Capricorn long back, okay, in the retrograde motion. So you can expect that any matter related to your family responsibility may come in front of you, where you need to actively participate in it and you need to follow your duty with respect to righteousness and dharma, because that will give you much more better results. Now when we talk about Mars is transiting in your sixth house. Normally, the transit of Mars in the sixth house is considered very good, because it gives you that energy, action oriented approach to complete any kind of work. Because sixth house is also the house of hard work, struggle, service. So, this Mars will give you the energy to overcome any kind of struggle. So that is the reason you will perform very good whenever the struggle will be more, whenever the competition will be more. You will always excel, you will overcome your opponents in a much more easier manner due to this transit of Saturn in your sixth house. But you need to also have a proper punctuality and discipline, because don't get reckless. Sixth house is also the house of injuries and accidents. So make sure that you are taking care of your health and you are not going into any kind of disruptive energies. Don't go for any kind of dispute, don't go for any kind of arguments, stay away from those things. Don't be reckless, follow the discipline in your life. That can not only give you good health but also save you from any kind of unnecessary injuries and accidents. Okay. Sun and Venus will be transiting in your ninth house, and this is a very good transit, I will say, because it is creating a Dhan Yoga, the conjunction of ninth lord and 11th lord in the ninth house. So, by this conjunction, by this virtue of Dhan Yoga, it will bring wealth and incoming of wealth and fulfillment of desire in you in this particular month of September. So you have to make most out of it, because you will feel your fortune is supporting you, and that is not only giving you good results but also bringing happiness and prosperity on your way. Some kind of long distance travel can be seen during this particular transit of Venus and Sun in the ninth house. You can get connected with your father, with your guru and your elders, and learn new things from them. Your philosophical ideas will be much more strengthened during this particular time. And you can also follow your hobby and creative talent during this month, because Sun and Venus will be directly aspecting your third house. So through your creative talent, through your action oriented approach, and involving yourself in proper efforts, proper deliverance of energy, you will get success. So make the most out of it. That's it for the Sagittarius ascendant people. For the Capricorn ascendant people, Saturn is the first lord and it is retrograding in the first house itself. So it is very essential during this particular time that new kind of responsibilities and duties may come up in front of you, where you need to perform it with proper commitment, faith, devotion, and with proper management. So your punctuality will be checked, and when you do your work with proper management, then you will feel that yes, Saturn is also helping you out, because during this particular time your commitment, your patience level will be tested, and when you follow your responsibilities and duties with proper devotion and faith, you will ultimately get good results. So two things has to be taken care of, that don't procrastinate, don't delay your work, and second thing is that don't take up any big project. Suppose if you are feeling that yes, any big task is coming up in front of you, just break it down into smaller projects, into smaller steps. That will not only increase your confidence, because once you complete it, it is a successful project, correct? So it will increase your confidence, but also in a given span of time you will see that a big project is completed. So do slowly, but don't delay it. Okay. Another thing is that Saturn will be looking directly onto your seventh house of your married life. So this is the time when you need to be very careful regarding how you deal with your partner, or how you deal with your business partnership, okay, or any kind of other person, okay, because certain matters will come in front of you where responsibilities regarding your married life will be very prominent during this particular time. So take care regarding the health of your spouse also. Now, Jupiter is transiting in your third house, and Jupiter is the third lord itself, and it is retrograde. So, during this particular time, you may start any kind of hobby or any kind of project which you might have had ignored in the past. And during this retrogression of Jupiter in the third house, you will get that proper wisdom and knowledge to work on it, and that will give you much more better results. It will also increase your social communication, and your communicative skills will be much more better during this particular month of September when Jupiter is retrograde in the third house. Only one thing, Jupiter is the third lord, and communication is significated by Mercury, and Mercury is also turning retrograde in the 10th of September. So, what you communicate and what you say uh, among your social communication will be very essential during this particular time. So, don't say anything which you later on you may feel that I shouldn't have said. So, out of impulsion, don't take any decision, or don't say anything, or don't communicate anything which you should not do. Okay, so regarding that thing, you need to be very careful. And whatever project you are starting, make sure that you know that whether you will be able to complete it or not, since Jupiter is transiting in the third house. So suppose if you are unaware or unsure about the completion of the project, so don't take it as of now, because it may happen that your benevolence is misused, or your goodness is exploited by other people. Okay, so make sure regarding that. Mars will be transiting in your fifth house. Now, this transit has to be taken carefully, because normally Mars in the fifth house can make a person very adventurous. Fifth house is the house which deals with pleasure and joy of a person. Okay, it also deals with romantic affairs. It also deals with creative intelligence. Okay, specialized education. So at times it can make you very adventurous related to sports, athletics, or suppose if you are visiting any new place, so it can make you very adventurous regarding that unknown place, because this Mars can make you just like an explorer to help you to explore new things. Okay, so follow proper discipline, because don't forget Mars will be looking on to the 12th house and 8th house both. Okay, so follow proper discipline. And yes, if you are associated with any kind of creativity or creative talent, then this transit of Mars can help you to learn those creative talents or creative skills in a much more better manner, because it will give you that energy, it will give you that impulsion, that impulsive energy all of a sudden. So you will feel that yes, I can learn it, I can work on it. Okay, so in that way this transit of Mars will be good. But fifth house can also talk about our management. Fifth house also talks about our mentality. So at times this Mars can make us very anxious, anxiety prone. Okay, so don't get too much into anything. Okay, just take it lightly and learn the things and work on it. That will give you much more better results. Mercury is transiting in your ninth house, and on 10th of September, Mercury will be retrograde in your ninth house. So, this is the time of learning and looking onto your belief system in a much more better manner. And if you are thinking about some kind of higher knowledge or higher education, then this transit of Mercury, especially in the retrograde motion in the ninth house, can help you, can allow you to work on those things. Suppose if you are already working somewhere, or you are associated with any kind of work, then this retrogression of Mercury can help you learn new things, and you can apply that knowledge in your work and ultimately get better results. Since it is the ninth house, so you can also get connected with your guru, with your elders, with your father, and know the learnings from them. You can get connected with them in a much more better manner, because this Mercury will be aspected by Jupiter, guru. So wisdom of guru will always be there, which will always be following you, and that will be like a divine protection for you. So this is a transit of fortune, prosperity, and happiness. Some religious discourses can be seen, some long distance travels can be seen during this particular transit of Mercury, and any kind of subjects, that can be law, that can be philosophy, or even it can be astrology, any kind of higher learning, okay, can be seen, and you can learn it. You can learn any kind of spiritual or religious scriptures. You can get connected with any kind of religious communities during this particular transit of Mercury in the retrograde motion in the ninth house. Another thing is that Sun and Venus will be transiting in your eighth house. So this transit has to be taken a bit carefully, because Venus will be with Sun and will be aspected by Mars from the fifth house, and eighth house is basically the marital life. It is second from the seventh house, so it is basically the, say, if seventh house is the house of marriage, then eighth house is basically the married life. Okay, so any matter related to your married life, or regarding your joint asset, or regarding your spouse, or your partner may come in front of you, where you need to address it in a more proper manner. So here, although the transit of Venus is normally considered very good in the eighth house, but it is getting under the influence of fiery planet like Sun and Mars. So here you need to be very careful regarding how you are dealing with your partner, or any matter related to your married life, because certain issues may come all of a sudden. Sun and Venus will be directly aspecting your second house, so your speech will be good, but at times very straightforward. Okay, so during this particular time, try to stop any kind of unnecessary expenditures. Try to stop it. Okay, because expenditures can be seen. On the other hand, since Sun is your eighth lord and transiting along with Venus, and Venus is the 10th lord and fifth lord. So here, some kind of change in profession can be seen, some kind of dissatisfaction can be seen in your work life, where you can actually take some decisions regarding your profession or job change, okay, during this particular transit of Sun and Venus in your eighth house. So you have to take the proper wise decisions, because during this particular time opportunities will also come regarding your job and career. So take the wise decision, and by that way this month of September will be better for you. So that's it for the Capricorn ascendant people. For the Aquarius ascendant people, Saturn will be transiting in your 12th house, and Saturn is the Lagna Lord itself, and it is retrograding. Although it will be transiting in the sign of Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn itself, but still I will say take care regarding your health during this particular time, because Saturn is the Lagna Lord transiting in the 12th house. Another thing is that Saturn will be aspecting your second house by its third aspect, where Jupiter is retrograding. So during this particular time you need to be also be very careful regarding your expenditures. So don't go for any kind of wasteful expenditures during this particular time. And this transit of Saturn in your 12th house will be very much spiritually aligned, because you can participate or learn any kind of spiritual way of living. You can join any spiritual community, get connected with any kind of spiritual way of living, like yoga, meditation, in some isolation, in some solitude, or you can also move to some faraway place and learn this kind of learnings. Okay, that will be much more better for you. In one way, it can also be seen that Saturn is the significator of karma. It is also the significator of 10th house, and it is transiting in the 12th house. So you may feel that you are doing the all sorts of cooperation for others, but you are not getting any kind of anything in back. You may feel that I'm doing everything, but I'm not getting back the things which I really meant to get back. Okay, so in during this particular time I will advise you that just do your work as if you are doing it out of compassion, as if you are doing it as a part of universal love. Okay, so just keep doing your work, and if you can do some kind of charities during this particular time, specifically to the old people, unprivileged people, then this transit will of the Saturn will prove to be much more beneficial for you. Another thing is that during this particular time, don't expect anything in return. Just do your work, because when Saturn turns direct and Saturn comes back to the sign of Aquarius next year, then you will feel that yes, ultimately you are getting back the things which you actually expected or which you actually meant to get. Okay, Jupiter will be transiting in your second house in the retrograde motion, and Jupiter is the second lord and 11th lord both. So, this is a transit of wealth generation, this is a transit of getting incoming of wealth in your life, and it is a very good transit, I will say, where you can get back or you can clear. Or open doors of wealth and fulfillment of desires in your life. So in this month you can get some good news related to your wealth or your finances, provided some kind those kind of dasas are running in your chart. Okay, Mars will be transiting in your fourth house, and this transit has to be taken a bit carefully, because this transit of Mars at times can make some kind of disruptive forces or disturbances at your family life, at your domestic environment, that can disturb the family happiness overall as a whole. So stay away from any kind of arguments, stay away from any kinds of unnecessary fights. Okay, because and you can participate in any kind of work at your home, like suppose decorating the home, or renovating the home, or gardening, or practicing yoga and exercises at your home also, because in that way you can channelize the Martian energy, and ultimately that will give you much more better results. One more thing is that you can participate in any kind of household activities, because in that way you will be using your Martian energy in some proper manner. So in that way you will be able to move away from any kind of unnecessary arguments or disruptive forces. One thing I must say here, that Jupiter is retrograde in the second house, and just opposite to Jupiter will be Mercury, and Mercury will be soon very soon retrograde on 10th of September. So this Mercury and Jupiter will be looking each other from second house and eighth house. So from second house Jupiter will be looking onto Mercury, and Mercury will be looking onto Jupiter from eighth house. So this is also a time of learning and involving yourself in the materialistic and spiritual side of the life at the same time. So at the same time you will feel that yes, I can look onto my family life, I can take some family decisions in a more prompt manner, and I can also take decisions regarding my wealth and finances. But at the same time you will also feel that yes, I can also learn some occult knowledge, I can also learn some spiritual knowledges that can give you much more better results. Now, since Mercury is the eighth lord itself and it is retrograde, and Sun and Venus is transiting in the seventh house, so matter related to your married life or relationship will be very prominent during this particular time. So those things has to be taken with proper care, and don't go for any kind of arguments with your partner during this particular time. In fact, the sense of cooperation will be much more better. Try to learn to cooperate your partner, and don't hesitate to give cooperation and take cooperation. In that way also this transit of Venus and Sun in the seventh house will be much more better, and any matter related to your married life will be resolved, because Mercury will be retrograde in the eighth house. So that will also bring proper communication between you and your spouse and with your in-laws also, and any matter related to your joint assets will also be much more easily resolved during this particular time. So make the most out of it. That's it for the Aquarius ascendant people. For the Pisces ascendant people, the Lagna Lord Jupiter will be retrograding in the first house itself, and it is the ruler of the sign Pisces. Normally, the transit of Jupiter in the first house is considered very good, because it gives a person proper wisdom, proper knowledge. It makes a person highly intellectual, and allows a native to learn, relearn, and also guide other people much more judiciously. So people gets attracted to such a person due to knowledge and intelligence. And this Jupiter is retrograding, that means this is a time when you can relook on your personality, relook on your health management, and this is a perfect time of self development, perfect time of personality development, because certain changes to your life, and ultimately you get the success at your hand. Okay, this Jupiter will be aspecting your fifth house, seventh house, and ninth house. So it will be much more better for improving your skill set, having a proper cordial relationship between you and your children, maintaining proper balance at your married life, and also having prosperity and fortune through your luck. But just opposite to Jupiter, we have Mercury in the seventh house, and Mercury is exalted over here. But on 10th of September, Mercury will turn retrograde in the seventh house. So it is very essential is that during this particular time when Mercury turns retrograde in the seventh house, in the house of partnership and marriage relationship, don't judge things very critically towards yourself also, and towards your spouse or your partner's perspective also. Okay, rather you can try to resolve the problems, try to solve the things or any kind of matter related to your married life or your relationship in a much more prompt manner, because that can give you better results, because certain matter which you might have had ignored will come in front of you, and it will ask your attention, it will ask your focus. And if you try to avoid any kind of arguments, then you will feel that yes, you are actually going towards the solution, and you are trying to deal with the problem, and you will ultimately get the solution, because Jupiter will aspect the Mercury. Okay, this is becoming much more important because your eighth lord, and eighth house also deals with married life. That is, the eighth lord Venus is conjunct with sixth lord Sun. So it becomes much more important to take extra care regarding your relationship and married life and business partnerships, or how you deal with other people. It becomes very essential regarding that, because certain matters where health of the spouse may suffer, you may take care regarding the health of the spouse during this particular month. It is very essential. Or any matter related to the married life may disturb you. Okay, so you need to be very careful regarding those things. Now, if you talk about Sun and Venus transit in the sixth house, then I will say, apart from taking care regarding the married life or health of the spouse, you will feel that you are getting proper energy and proper action oriented approach regarding your work, regarding your service. You will feel that yes, I can complete my work on time, and it will also give you a sense to overcome your opponents. You will feel that yes, I can do this work in much more better manner, because Sun and Venus will be aspected by Mars from the third house of efforts. And during this particular time, I will say, try to stay away from any kind of jealousy or any kind of manipulation or politics at your job level, at your service level. Just complete your work on time, and try to maintain a cordial relationship between you and your co-workers. Although because of this presence of Sun and aspect of Mars, some the relationship between you and your co-workers at certain level may get disrupted or disturbed. But try your best to maintain a cordial relationship between you and your co-workers and anyone working in your work environment, at your job level, at your the place where you work. Okay, try to follow the orders given by your superiors, and have a proper relationship between you and your subordinates also, because that will give you much more better results with respect to your service mentality. If we talk about Saturn, then Saturn will be transiting in the 11th house. Normally, the transit of Saturn in the 11th house is considered very good, because it can give you a justified way of wealth generation through the transit in the 11th house, and it is retrograde. So that means through your hard work, you will be able to understand that what are the ways by which I can work on, and I can get fulfill my desires, or I can have multiple ways of wealth in my life. Okay, so this transit of Saturn is a very important one, because Saturn is a slow moving planet, so you will get ample amount of time. So don't waste it. Just work on your talent, and it will ultimately give you much more better results. And this Saturn is actually there to teach you to work with team, work with cooperation, work with service. So suppose if you are associated with any kind of team project, or where you are dealing with multiple kind of people, then this transit of Saturn will actually ask you to cooperate with other person, cooperate with other people. Then this transit of Saturn will give you much more better results. Mars will be transiting in your third house, and this Mars will give you that proper energy to work on your projects and any kind of hobbies which you want to take in. Only one thing is that try to avoid any kind of um, disputes or any kind of arguments, because third house is also the house of communication. So there can be a chance of heated arguments between you and any person, between you and your daily contacts. Okay, try to avoid that. Otherwise, this transit of Mars in the third house is a very welcome transit, because you will feel that yes, you have the capacity and power to complete any kind of work on time. It will give you that proper energy, and every day morning when you wake up, you will feel that yes, I can do this work on time and I will be successful. So this kind of confidence will be there within you, because it knows that yes, it can complete the work on time. Okay, so this kind of energy will be there. So it is a wonderful time when you can work on your any kind of project or hobby, or you can start new kind of work also. Okay, so make the most out of it. That's it for the Pisces ascendant people.